Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about stop stressing your heart out. It is National Heart Month, so I felt like it was appropriate to be talking about some things that we can do for our heart health. If you have not met me before, my name is Megan Wollerton. I am the owner of Life Force Wellness. I am also certified as a personal trainer, health coach, nutrition coach. I work with individuals and I also work with companies. So I have my corporate wellness specialist certification, so I can come in and do programs with employees. So if you're a business owner or leader, I also have my certification in positive psychology because I recognized working with my clients that the mind and the body connection is very strong. And so I like to really focus on wellness from that holistic perspective. And most recently, I got certified as a stress management, sleep, and recovery coach, which we're going to kind of go over a little bit today. So, today's topic, we are talking all about heart health and strategies that we can implement for a healthier heart. We're going to be focused on things like our nutrition. We're going to be focused on movement, exercise to support cardiovascular health. We're going to be focused on stress management because it's very overlooked, but also important to heart health. I'm going to give you some tips and advice that I give to my coaching clients, such as starting your day with the 3 M's to support your nervous system. We're going to find easy ways to take pauses for positivity and just check in with our body throughout the day, and then learn how to implement a practical sleep routine. So, things you can do to promote better quality sleep, which is also extremely important for heart health. Now, one of the reasons I really wanted to tackle this subject is because heart health is a major issue in the United States. I do a presentation every year for organizations called Preventing Disease. And in it, I go over the top leading causes of death. And I just updated it for a group. And like always, heart disease took number one on the list. So, latest data we have is from 2023. And if you look at all registered deaths in the United States, 22.2% of all deaths in the United States were attributed to heart disease. So, if you are in conversations with your doctor about heart disease, it is something that you should be taking seriously. Now, those who are at most risk are typically men, people who smoke, who are overweight, who have a family history of heart disease or heart attack, and people over the age of 55. Now, this might seem very scary, but we also have to recognize that when we say heart disease, this is actually kind of a broad range. This can be anything from heart arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats, to also things like coronary artery disease. So, heart disease is kind of this umbrella kind of term we use for various conditions. Now, when you talk to your doctor about heart disease, they probably say something to you like, well, you should quit smoking, you should eat healthier, you should exercise at least 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, and maintain a healthy weight. That's pretty much all the information you're given. I feel like everyone on this call probably knows, yeah, I shouldn't smoke, I should eat healthier, I should exercise, and I should maintain a healthy weight. But it's more about how do we go about doing that? What's really keeping us from that? Where do we get started? Those components generally get missed in the conversation. So today I want to focus on the four primary pillars of heart health. So this includes nutrition, exercise, stress management, and sleep. If we can focus on getting these things right, all those heart conditions will also improve while we improve these areas. So, to start, let's talk about our nutrition. And rather than talking about fatty foods, what to avoid, what not to avoid, I mean, things get shifted around constantly. Let's talk about some of the serious issues, the inflammation that builds up in our body, and what do we know causes that inflammation in our body. First and foremost, refined sugars. So think about those sodas, the fizzy drinks, the pastries, the cakes, the sweets, the snack bars. All of these things spike glucose levels, which our bodies just can't process quickly enough. We want to really make sure that we're getting away from the refined sugars, high sugary foods. Those increased levels of sugar actually produce those pro inflammatory cytokines, and that increases inflammation. So if you have a lot of joint pain, maybe you're also dealing with arthritis on top of managing heart health. A lot of times, removing a lot of those high sugary foods from your diet can help alleviate some of that joint pain. High sugar also suppresses your immune system, making it you more susceptible to diseases and infection. So if you're already dealing with a heart condition, you want to make sure you're staying as healthy as possible. And a good way to boost your immunity is to make sure that we're not reducing it with high inflammation foods like refined sugar. With refined sugar, there's also refined flour, anything white. For some reason, we got it in our head a long time ago that white is clean and it's healthier, and it's really not. What we've done is we've stripped all the slow digesting fibers and nutrients from our foods. And so when we have like white flour, white bread, just like refined sugar, the body breaks those down very quickly and it spikes our insulin levels, and that results to a pro inflammatory body response. So this is putting you not just at risk for heart disease, but also potentially diabetes with those constant spikes in insulin. Other pro-inflammatory foods, vegetable oils, corn, canola, soybean, safflower, all these products can contain high omega-6 fatty acids. You've probably heard of the omega-3s that we get from fish, and they're healthy. We need omega-6s as well. But when we get too many of them, and a big issue with these that I have seen is people who have tried to switch from dairy products to like the vegan buttery spreads. These things are really high in things like canola oil, and they're high in that omega 6. And when we get too many omega 6s in our diet, it actually kind of diminishes the omega 3s and it increases inflammation in the body. It can actually be really detrimental to your overall health. So we want to make sure that omega 6s and 3s are properly balanced, and having too many vegetable oils can cause them to become imbalanced. Another one is processed corn. You've probably heard we need to stay away from things like high fructose corn syrup, which just seems to be in about everything these days. So reading those nutrition labels and looking for the high fructose corn syrup, looking for the corn flour, the corn oil, getting those out of the body, because just like refined sugars, they actually increase that insulin response and creates an inflammatory response. So some easy swaps I would recommend if you're trying to be a little more mindful about heart health is look at your cooking sprays or what you're doing before you prep any of your pans. If you're using something like a Pam spray, even if it's natural, a lot of times those are made with the oils we want to avoid, and they also have chemicals like propellants in it. So I would recommend switching to an avocado or an extra virgin olive oil. I actually went and got one of those hand pump misto sprayers. Think of like a Nerf gun, but it's made for spraying your oil, so it doesn't have the chemicals and the propellants in it. So doing something like that, a simple swap where you can fill it up with your own avocado or extra virgin olive oil, is really healthy. I like to tell my clients, eat dirty, eat the dirty wheat, eat the brown rice, eat the stuff that looks a little dirtier is probably a little healthier. We want to avoid the bleached flour and rice and grains. We want to make sure we're getting all of the slow digesting fibers. We want to make sure we're getting all the minerals and nutrients out of it. We also want to make swaps with our sugar. I'm not saying avoid all sugar. We need a little bit of sugar in our diet, but get it from natural sources. I would recommend, if you're going to sweeten your tea or something, switch to honey, use just regular sugar. You can do the stevia drops, but you want to make sure you're getting your sugars from natural sources like your fresh fruit, using things like sweet and low or aspartame, those kinds of things. Your body doesn't recognize them, and so it can also cause an inflammatory response. As a side note, if you decide to start using honey to sweeten certain recipes, if you have seasonal allergies, so this is a side bonus tip. Like me, I'm really allergic to ragweed. And I have a local guy in my area who's a beekeeper and he sells them at local farm markets and stuff, his honey. I'll go to him and say, where's your honey that was harvested during ragweed season? And I buy that because when you actually ingest honey that was made with the pollen you're allergic to, it helps to build your immunity to that pollen and it can help reduce the effects of seasonal allergies. So if you're really struggling during a certain season, finding a local beekeeper and buying honey that was made from the pollen of that season can actually help you so you're not like watery eyes and stuffy nose for that season. At least not as bad. It takes the edge off, if nothing else. Now, I know it's hard to remove certain things from our diets, especially when we're in the habit of eating certain breads, certain pastas. I get that. And when I tell you, don't think of a white elephant, you all just thought of one. So sometimes it's not about removing things from our diet, but maybe adding things into our diet. So I wanted to also give you some anti inflammatory foods that maybe you can work into your diet because that might be easier. First and foremost, I'd recommend is turmeric. It is the best anti inflammatory food out there. It's got an interesting flavor to it. So if you've never cooked with it, definitely you need to get a little creative. There's plenty of recipes out there. I tell you, I'll buy a sweet turmeric and it's like turmeric mixed with cinnamon. And I add that to an orange tea. And just a little teaspoon of that in my tea is enough for the day. But the nice thing with turmeric is its active ingredient is this curcumin. And this actually activates two enzymes involved in the inflammatory response. So it actually prevents inflammatory proteins from triggering pain and swelling. So, again, if you're having a lot of pain and swelling in the body and you want to exercise, you're probably not feeling like it right now. Adding a little turmeric, taking down some of that joint pain, you might feel a little more motivated to get up and get moving. Ginger is very similar to turmeric. It's also an anti inflammatory healing root. It boosts the immune system and it helps to break down toxins in the body. Beetroot is another one that I highly recommend. Beets can actually fight and repair cell damage caused by inflammation. So, if you're somebody that's been dealing with chronic inflammation for a long time, adding beets to your diet can be really good for you. It also increases your potassium and your magnesium intake. And most Americans are deficient in magnesium, and that can affect our sleep, which is one of our other pillars of heart health. So, adding beetroot or beets to your diet can be very helpful. When it comes to my top 5 heart healthy foods, if you're looking to add something to your diet, fatty fish. So, getting the rich omega 3s. So, think salmon, sardines, mackerel. This helps to reduce inflammation and support a heart healthy rhythm. Berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. These are packed with antioxidants that protect blood vessels and reduce oxidative stress. Nuts, specifically walnuts and almonds, provide heart healthy fat and fibers that support cholesterol levels. Think dark leafy greens, spinach, kale. They're high in potassium and nitrates that support blood pressure and vascular health. And then olive oil. I prefer cold pressed olive oil. It helps to fight the inflammatory compounds and supports overall cardiovascular health. So, if you were looking to add maybe 5 foods to your diet, these would be the top 5 that I would recommend. When it comes to sleep promoting food, because sleep is one of these pillars we're talking about for heart health, think complex carbs. So think oats, brown rice, chickpeas, whole wheat toast. Tryptophan rich foods. So we always joke around Thanksgiving about being sleepy after eating turkey. Turkey definitely has it. Eggs, nuts, fish, and chicken also have tryptophan. Magnesium rich foods, because we're really lacking on those, things like the dark leafy greens, bananas, dark chocolate, avocados, and pumpkin seeds, and melatonin producing foods. So, if you're somebody that's taking melatonin to get better quality sleep at night and you're having a hard time with the dosage or the timing of it, go back to what your grandma used to tell you. Have a warm glass of milk before bed. Milk has melatonin in it, so that can actually help you sleep better at night. Tart cherries, grapes, and mushrooms also have help you to produce melatonin naturally, so that you don't need to be taking the supplement. All right. Next, exercise. A lot of us, we don't really feel like we're in the mood for exercise. Um, one session of good exercise can generate 90 to 120 minutes of a relaxation response. So we get this rush of endorphins, and we call it this, post exercise euphoria. Or if you've been running, you may have heard of it as the runner's high. You just feel really good. If you have a good exercise session, maybe it's really hard to get started, but by the time you're done, you feel really good about it. The body feels good. A lot of the pain receptors from the norepinephrine and the endorphin levels, they kind of dull any of that pain. So it acts as that pain reducer. You get more feelings of happiness. It's really good for your mental health, for your body. And so even if you're not quite in the mood, sometimes doing like what you'll read about in like Atomic Habits, starting with a 5 minute, like I'm going to start with a 5 minute walk and see where that gets me. You might be surprised in how far that will get you because your mood starts to shift. When I talk to clients and I ask them, why aren't you exercising? Your doctor's saying you should do it. I'm saying you should do it. You know you should do it. Most common excuses is I have no time. It really only takes about 20 minutes a day. So, recommendation that I learned from personal training was 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week. You don't have to go down to the gym and take the super hard cycle class or join up to for CrossFit or do a crazy boot camp. 20 minutes walking moderately. If you don't like running, even if you get on the treadmill and you mess with the incline and do more of an incline, that will help get the heart rate up without damaging the knees, without putting that pounding pressure on the knees. Speaking of which, that's the second common thing I hear is bad hips, knees, ankles, shoulders, back. There's an area that's bothering you. There's different exercises for everyone. One of the classes I teach is also a boxing class, and I tend to keep it low impact for people who have bad hips, knees, or ankles because they can stand at a heavy bag, they can throw punches, they can decide how hard they're throwing those punches, they're getting their heart rate up, but we can keep it lower impact so that it's not bothering those lower body areas. If you're not motivated, find something you enjoy. Exercise can be going to the gym and doing pickleball. It can be, playing with your kids. It can be, doing a game with your kids around the house. It can be meeting up for a friend and going for a walk around the park. It doesn't have to be like in the gym, dripping sweat, super intense. Find something you enjoy. Join a league if you want to help get you motivated. And the fourth reason most of my clients will tell me that they're not exercising is they feel guilty about it. Self care isn't selfish. Sometimes it's, well, I could be spending more time with my kids, or, this is the time that I like to sit and talk to my spouse, or I need to do this. Bring them with you. After dinner on nice days, my family, we get up from the dinner table and we go for a walk around our neighborhood, and we do it as a family unit. See how you can get them involved with you, but you shouldn't feel guilty to take 15 to 20 minutes of your day and do something that's going to, better your health so you can be there for them longer. Exercise tips: start slow. If you're not already exercising, please make sure you start slow and work your way up. Especially after New Year's resolutions, we get a lot of people that hit the gym hard, and within 3 weeks, they're nursing a torn rotator cuff or a knee injury or a hip because they just went too hard too fast. Work your way into it. I recommend you change your routine every 6 to 8 weeks. It doesn't have to be crazy, but if you take the same classes day in and day out, your body does get used to that stress. And so if you want to constantly be challenging your body and improving it, you need to be shifting. You need to increase the challenge, change the type of class, change the type of cardio, change the type of weightlifting you're doing about every 6 to 8 weeks. Even with my personal training clients, about every 7, 8 weeks, I'm switching up their program just slightly so that they can work different muscle groups. They have a different intensity, just to kind of keep them on their toes, always challenging, always growing. Don't work out where you work. Get outside. Your workout time should be your time. It should be something that you actually look forward to eventually. You might not enjoy it now, and I get that. Not everyone enjoys exercising, they're walking or getting out. And especially if you've been dealing with joint pain and any other health conditions, it might even seem a little scary. But this should be a time for you to unplug and just focus on yourself and your health. If you need to join a class, join a league, get a workout buddy, find somebody to keep you accountable, consult your doctor. So if you are under a doctor's care for any kind of heart condition or any other health condition, please make sure you just talk to them about the exercise you're planning on doing. And I recommend getting a coach or a trainer, especially if this is something new to you. Just please make sure that they are certified. Unfortunately, health coaching is not as well regulated as other areas like personal training and nutrition. And so you may find people that say they are a health coach, but really what they are salesmen, and they're pushing some kind of product. I'm not going to name any brands, but there are a few out there that I'm aware of that their salesmen are basically called health coaches. So please make sure you're working with someone who's certified and not just going to try to sell you a particular program or supplement. If you need help, where do I find good certified trainers? I'm happy to provide you some resources. But right off the bat, I would say I'm certified through the American Council of Exercise, ACE, and you can go on and find acefitness.org, and you can actually search for their certified personal trainers on their website. And I know, because I'm a certified trainer through them, I have to have my CPR and first aid. I have to be insured. There's a certain code of ethics that we all have to follow. We've all had to take rigorous testing. That would be an organization I would trust to find a coach or a trainer through. If you are dealing with high blood pressure, since this is a webinar on specifically heart health, if you've already been diagnosed with high blood pressure, something not a lot of people know is one, you should avoid isometric holds. So think plank holds, think wall sits, anything where you're trying to hold a position as long as you can. So certain yoga classes where you're holding poses for an extended period of time, those are not going to be the best for you because holding those poses increases your blood pressure. And if you're already having a hard time controlling your blood pressure, that's not going to be good for you. The other thing is heavy lifting. It's okay to do lightweight lifting. It's okay to do the cardio, but you don't want to go too heavy. You know, if you've ever lifted and then you got the white spots or felt like you were going to pass out, that is because your blood pressure spiked way too high. Back off the weights a little bit until you make sure that your blood pressure is under control before you increase the weight. We're going to get into the stress management now. So, when we think about stress, let's think about how we are starting our day. So, if you are somebody who rolls over and the first thing you do is check your phone, you're checking emails, messages, you're checking your social media, stop it. You should start your day with what's known as the 3M. So, before you check your phone, the first thing you should do is roll out of bed and start with movement. You don't have to go for your walk here. This is not when you have to do your rigorous exercise, but just open up the body. Get the blood flowing, get the joints open, release those stiff muscles, just tune into the body. How are you feeling right now? Spend 10 to 15 minutes just doing some exercises, just some stretches, just to get you ready for the day. From there, focus on mindfulness. Set your mental intention for the day. This could look like prayer, meditation, devotions, affirmations, journaling. One of the most researched ones you can do is gratitude journaling. So, spending 15 minutes and writing down the 3 things you're most grateful for. And don't rush it. This is not, I'm happy for my dog, my spouse, and my house, and move on with your day. Okay. You want to actually spend some time. Ask yourself, out of everything in the universe, what am I most grateful for right now? Write that down. Then ask, why out of everything in the universe did I choose this thing? And journal on why you chose that. And do that for 2 or 3 items, and that's going to put you in the right mindset. It activates in the brain what's known as the reticular activating system, which is when we think about certain things, that's what our brain finds. So if I tell you to look for a red truck, your brain's going to start searching for all the red trucks on the road. If you start your day by practicing gratitude, it's found that your brain starts looking for more things to be grateful for. And this keeps your mood up, which you'll need, especially if you want to be motivated towards the end of the day to go hit the gym or do the exercise or stay away from the high processed foods that we go to for comfort that are damaging our heart. Then, management. Plan your day. Don't let others take control of your day completely. What are 3 things you want to accomplish today? What are 3 tasks that are important for you that you want to complete before you go back to bed? Write those down, schedule them in your day, and then schedule your breaks, your meals. Worst mistake I made, I set up a Calendly link for calls, which you'll get at the end of this. And I didn't block out any time for lunches or breaks. And I had 3 weeks where I couldn't eat lunch and I barely had time to stop and use the restroom. I now have blocks in my schedule specifically for lunch, for breaks, for checking email time that you can't book with me because otherwise it gets really crazy. Plan those breaks, put those into your schedule. You don't have to plan every moment of your day, but if you at least get those top 3 tasks and a couple meals and some breaks, then you're going to have a less stressful day. Once you've completed 15 to 20 minutes of movement, mindfulness, and management, now go check your phone, get on with your day. You're starting your day with the right mood. As you move throughout your day, you want to make sure that you're staying positive and mindful in the moment. It's very simple for us to start off. We did our gratitude journaling, we hit the road, and then someone cuts us off in traffic. Our kids don't get their pants on in time. We're chasing down the school bus. Our coffee order was messed up. You get a passive aggressive email as soon as you sit down, just something happens and it just sours you. And we tend to have a strong negativity bias and we dwell on that. So every 90 minutes or so, just taking a pause and going, okay, what am I thinking right now? Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling depressed? Am I angry? How am I feeling mentally right now? And then also tune into the body. What is your body doing right now? How is it feeling? Are your shoulders up by your ears because you're so stressed out? Is like everything tight and tense? Or are you relaxed as you are working? About 60 to 90 minutes every day, you should set a timer and perform this mind body scan, which we'll do together right now. So, wherever you are right now, I want you to just push back from the computer a little bit. Go ahead, let your feet dangle on the floor. Stop whatever you're doing. If you're doing emails while you're listening, you can stop that for a minute. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to pretend like you're going through a super cool spy movie and you're about to enter the vault and you're going to get scanned from the very top of your head all the way down to your toes. And I just want you to take note of what you're feeling. So, closing your eyes, start at the very top of your head. And you might have noticed you were furrowing your forehead, your brow, and now it's relaxed. Relax those muscles. Your eyes are closed. Maybe you realize you've been staring at a computer screen too long. It feels really good to rest your eyes. Keep scanning down into your nose. Take a big breath in through your nose and exhale from your mouth. Did you just unclench your jaw? Is your mouth dry? Keep going down into your neck. You need side to side. Into your shoulders. Roll those shoulders back and down. Relax them. Take it out to your hands if you need. Stretch out your arms. Roll out your wrists. Squeeze your fingers and release. Take note. Keep going down into your chest. Take a nice big deep breath in. Have you been shallow breathing? And breathe out. Keep going down into your stomach. I know it's lunchtime. Maybe you're hungry. Keep going down into that low back. Keep going down into the hips. Maybe they're starting to feel stiff. Keep going down into the quads, into the knees. Stretch your legs out straight. Bend your knees. Go back down into those quads or into the calves. Going down into your ankles. Roll your ankles. Squeeze your toes and release. Open your eyes. What did you note? Did you notice you were hungry? Your jaw was clenched. Your neck was tight. Maybe now you're feeling like you want to get up and stretch. And if you want to, that's totally fine. We tend to tune out our body whenever we're focused with our mind. So if you're busy working on something, you're listening to things, you're in the grind, you're in hyper focus, maybe you're even just around the house, you're doing things, you're getting things done, you're not tuning into where you are. And so just setting a timer every 60 to 90 minutes and go through this mind body scan. Take care of what needs to be done. My mouth was dry. I need a drink. I need to hit the restroom. I need to get a snack. I need to stretch my hips. Take care of it and come back. When you do that, you reduce your stress, which is going to be better for your heart. You're also going to be more productive throughout the day. And now we're going to finish with good quality sleep. Sleep is so vital for a healthy mind and body. Your brain gets flushed at night, fresh cells so we can think better. Our muscles repair. Reminder, your heart is a muscle. And so if you want to repair any damage that is there, you want to make sure you're getting good quality sleep. Body fights infections, especially if you're already immunocompromised. Hormones are regulated. And it's not just about the quantity, but the quality. We need to get several cycles of sleep each night, and each cycle is 90 to 110 minutes. So you want to make sure you're getting into good deep sleep and into REM. Some simple tips: set the right environment for sleep. You want it to be cool, about 65 degrees. You want it to be dark. You want it to be comfortable, and you don't want any electronics in the room. When we measure sleep patterns, we measure it based on brain waves, and sometimes the electronic waves that we get from our TVs and our cell phones, those can actually interrupt our brain waves. And so if you're having a hard time getting into good deep sleep, it might be that you need to clear out the room of some of those electronics, and just setting the right environment is really key for getting good quality sleep. One of the routines you can set is 3-2-1 sleep. So 3 hours before bed, stop eating. If you eat and then you lay down, you tend to get acid reflux at night or indigestion or heartburn. It's because that food is starting to come back up. You want to make sure your stomach is fully emptied and the metabolism is slowing. So 3 hours before bed, stop eating. 2 hours before bed, stop working. Go do something fun. If you find yourself doom scrolling at night, that's called revenge bedtime procrastination. That's the name of it. That is your brain saying, you didn't give me enough dopamine today, and I'm not going to sleep till I get my fix. So 2 hours before bed, give your brain that hit of dopamine, do something you enjoy, watch Netflix, play a game, scroll on your phone. But 1 hour before bed, screen shut off. No blue screens, those interrupt your sleep cycles. You go read a book, set out your clothes for the next day, pack your lunch, but stay off your screens the hour before you go to bed so you can wind down. And lastly, focus on what you can control. When it comes to your health, especially your heart health, and you're hearing things like high cholesterol and high blood pressure, there are certain things you cannot control. You cannot control your physiology. You can't always control the anatomy. You can't always control the aging. You can't control your chronotype. You can't control your family history of this. You can't control those, but you have some control over how, what medications you take and how you respond to those. You have some control over, creating the right environments. You have control over, prioritizing your nutrition, prioritizing your health and taking those steps, seeing your doctor and doing the things you need to do. So being mindful of what is in your control and what isn't, and then taking action on what is in your control. As a quick recap, heart disease is the number one killer in America. So if you've been diagnosed with something with heart disease, please don't take it lightly. Be serious, follow your doctor's orders, avoid the inflammatory foods. And if it's easier, add some of those anti inflammatory items into your diet. Find exercise you enjoy and start small and build it. Start your day with the 3 M's: movement, mindfulness, and management. Take a 90-second break about every 90 minutes just to do that mind body scan and check in with how you are mentally. Set the right environment for deep sleep and practice 3-2-1 sleep, and focus on what you can control. Don't get stressed about what you can't. I want to be mindful of your time. We are there, but I will stay on if anyone wants to ask any questions. If you're not comfortable asking questions in front of a group, I totally get that, especially when it comes to your health. So if you want to book a call with me, I'm happy to talk to you, provide you more resources. You can scan that QR code and book a call, or you can email me directly at megan@lifeforcewellness.com. So at this time, I'd like to open it up. If anyone has any questions, you can put those in the chat or you can unmute. Otherwise, feel free to get on with the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me.